Hey fam, welcome to another episode of Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate. I got a great guest, I should say guest plural for you today. Have you ever had the dream of owning a boutique hotel at one of your favorite destinations and maybe having a retreat with your girls, or maybe have a church retreat, or even maybe a wedding venue? Have you ever asked yourself, sounds great, but I don't know how I'd ever fund it, or I don't even know how to locate these? Have you ever considered maybe even owning a property in a foreign country where you could visit it and just kind of have a relaxation time when you're getting away from your W 2? My guests today are going to share their journey with you of how they are trying to, and I shouldn't say trying, are buying boutique hotels all over the world and creating experiences for people just like you. They're going to show you how they're doing it and show you that it's possible with some will, some grit, and just some let's get it done attitude. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to my friends, Nico and Will.
Thanks for having us.
What's going on, guys?
Aloha,
Oh,
aloha. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, as I start every episode, I love to have my guests introduce themselves and share their journey. Very different for me because there's two of you. So, I'm a gentleman. So,
as am
Nico, could
I.
you please go ahead and start and just kind of introduce yourself to everybody and let them know how you got into real estate?
Yeah, I'd be honored. So before we ever launched Black Sail Capital or our fund, Rev Luxury Fund, I spent 7 years managing luxury properties like Marriott's and West End. My husband and I owned a holistic retreat business. So really learning what it takes to create these world-class experiences that leave a mark. But the heart behind this work runs much deeper for me. I grew up watching my dad rebuild his life after addiction. It showed me early on how the right environment, intentional space, the right people can really spark metamorphosis. And I've carried that with me ever since. This isn't just a career for Will and I and our partners, it's a calling, it's our whole heart and soul purpose. That's why we built Black Sail Capital. That's why we built Rev Luxury Fund. Our team is specifically Will and I are empowering acquisitions and marketing with everything we got and beyond. But that's just a little bit about me. We're not chasing syndications or spreadsheets. We're cultivating sanctuaries primed for health and wellness, for in short, for lack of better terms, creating return on life.
I have at least a handful of friends of mine that would love to probably partner with you on your vision. Health and wellness is like their thing. So, after this, I'll make sure that you and I have a conversation about that. And you will. How would you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, my name's Will Musak, born and bred down in New Orleans, Louisiana. Um, so love to have a good time. As if you've ever been down here, you know what I mean. And for me and my story of real estate, it's I would say it's a short story, but it's going to be a long one towards the end. Where about 3 years ago, I didn't have much knowledge or interest in the whole real estate world, both residential or commercial. It just wasn't something that interested me. But then Nico, our other partner, who's also Nico's husband, also a best friend of mine, they got me a job working for a commercial real estate company focused on multifamily investing. And prior to, if you asked me about multifamily, I would be like, "What's that?" And they'd be like, "It's apartments." And I was like,
What's
"Oh, why don't
that?
you just
Multiple
say
wives?
that?"
What is
Yeah.
that thing?
But since then, and I jumped in the team working in the media side, so heavily on the podcast, heavily on the YouTube channel. So there was a lot of learning going on. And eventually at some point, we kind of looked at ourselves and were like, hey, why are we not investing? And from that moment on, we started Black Sail Capital, and we have been investing in boutique hotels ever since. And, now we have the Rev Luxury Fund, and we are not stopping. I can tell you that. We've had some hurdles here and there. We've tripped up, but through grit and
Have to
resilience.
problem solve. New
Problem solve, yeah.
opportunities.
And there's always opportunity is one thing I've been learning is there's never ending opportunity.
Yeah, and especially if you can problem solve, right? I mean, you get more deals closed when you can problem solve than you do if you just say, "Oh, that's too hard. I'm gonna go to the next one."
Hmm. It's also
So
about asking the right questions, and peeling layers. That's something I recently discovered. Peel a few layers and ask the right questions, and then someone's going to provide all the answers, almost to the point where it's overwhelming. But yeah.
yeah, so I'm not sure you guys know about this, but we got introduced through Linda, and the community that I'm in is Pace Morby's Sub 2 Owners Club and Gator communities. And what Pace teaches and shares with our community is find the bunnies. And it goes back to his kind of foundation story where he was able to find the pain point for his very first, I wouldn't say very first person, but one of his early on um, deals where it wasn't about the money. The lady had some oversized bunnies in her backyard and they needed to be replaced or rehomed, is probably more. And once he solved that problem for her, she didn't want to sell her house to anybody but him.
Mm.
So it's interesting how if you can solve people's problems, right, it's you have a better chance of um, getting the deal closed, and it's not about dollar amounts. I mean, I can tell you a story about a gentleman that I'm partnered with who purchased a laundromat basically for free because he went the extra mile trying to take care of the owner's son. He went, found out what the pain point was, handled that situation, gave the owner a check for like the down payment or for the EMD, and the owner just literally teared it up. She's like, I can't take money from family. So, so many, stories I could probably sit here and tell both of you as far as how solving problems can really help you get into more deals and even save yourself some money if you just are a problem solver. So, totally agree with you, Will, on
All
that.
about authentically serving, really.
Absolutely.
And it
Absolutely.
transcends even outside of real estate. I think that could serve anyone, no matter what role you are, just like a mom, a dad, working in a restaurant, working in a hotel, janitor, school teacher. Like, as long as you're authentically serving with your best heart, it's going to speak volumes and people will feel that. There's a feeling to integrity, authenticity.
I agree. Totally agree. So, well, I'm going to start with you because, I think most of the people that watch this channel may relate more to you because they've never come from a background of real estate. So, what did you do to kind of help yourself get spun up to be a valuable member of this team?
Um, I gotta really pay a lot of respect to Strat and Nico because they were there to kind of like pull me along in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, and they buried with me, but now it was I'm going to equate this back to my first time snowboarding. Mind you, I'm from New Orleans. We don't have any snow, although we did just get pounded with 12 inches this past winter, which was pretty amazing. It's a 100-year historic snowstorm we had here. Was actually supposed to go to Hawaii that day. Got snowed in. But my first time ever snowboarding, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was
Right.
snowboarding with a group of 20 people who did know what they were doing. And they were like, we made it to the top of the mountain and they were like, okay, now we go down. And I was like, okay. And it took me a long time to get down there. And I finally made it down there. And then they were like, okay, let's go back up. And everyone, they're moving along, going up the chairlift. And I was like, what? We just made it down here. Like, now we're going to go back? But
Right.
what that did to me was working with people who were tenacious and skilled enough to keep pushing the boundaries, and I had to catch up quick. So for me to add value was catching up and getting up to speed with the rest of my team. Um, Internally here with Blacktail Capital, but also for our W2. I have to tip my hat to that opportunity as well, as it put me in the room with a lot of very intelligent, intentional real estate professionals. So I got to learn from all these people. I had to do research on all of them. You brought the story about Pace Morby and the bunnies. I remember reading that for the first time and listening to that when I was doing research on him. But I mean, the names go on and on. Rich Summers, James McCabe.
Sure.
It goes on and on and on. So that has been a huge help. And now I feel like a professional. I'm in the room. I'm in the locker room. It's just a matter of staying in the game and scoring a goal.
Yeah. So Nico, I mean, this seems to be like you said, you kind of grew up in this space, so it just seems natural to you. For people that are like, for myself, for example, growing up, well, let me rephrase that, not growing up. I'll say in my early 20s, right? I had vision on maybe buying a hotel because I thought it may be a great asset class to get into, but it was foreign to me. It was scary. Like, I didn't know how to run a hotel. I didn't know what the ins and outs are about it. If somebody was watching this and you wanted to give them, like, kind of, I don't want to say put their fears at rest, but how would you, let's say, coach somebody into saying, if this is something that you think you want to do, this is how I would advise you to maybe start?
Oh, can you still see me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, so sorry. My computer wigged out. But I would say fail forward. Honestly, that sounds so cliche, but fail forward. That abyss, that dark unknowing that you're kind of scared of, or maybe mysterious about, or curious about. That's your next layer. That is your next level into your fuller, better self. Fail forward. Everyone is new to something. And I'm still learning, so I can't even say that I am some great expert, but what I am good at is failing forward and getting back up and knowing that this dream was planted in my heart and to not give up on it, because I owe it to not only myself, but to the future people that are going to stay at our hotels, to the future team members and their wives. Because that's why I'm very motivated. So on those dark days, I think about that, but I do know that whenever I am scared of a next level, and it's usually kind of like a dark abyss of this unknowing matrix or void, it's usually when I should take that leap. And because I do have a great support system like Will and Strat to pick me back up, and I think that's why I love real estate so much, is because it is a team sport, man. Like,
Right.
and to Will's point, it's such a team sport that you can hit up these experts and they'll take the time to give you the advice because they know that was once them, right? Like, you can hit up the Pace Morbys, the Vina Jetties, the James McCabe's, Rich Summers, and be like, oh my God, here's my intrusive thoughts. Like, can you help me get creative? Like, it's not like, it's all it is getting creative. If one door closes, 10 more are going to open. I think
Sure.
to Will's point, just having that grit, tenacity, and the why. I think your why to keep you going. And that everyone's kind of been in a space of fear, and that they had to take this leap at some point in their life.
If I could just add on just slightly to that, the important, if you can find a solid team, we'll go back to that team aspect, but like Nico said, she fails forward. And, I'd say I do that too. Strat does that too. But we're there as teammates to catch each other and to pull the back of each other's shirts and be like, hey, I saw you almost fell on your face there. Not going to allow that to happen.
Right.
Or, hey, don't lose focus. Stay on track, So that's where we get to really help each other out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. Team sport for sure. Like I said to you guys before we got on this, I'm trying to acquire my first boutique hotel myself, and I have a owner rep for my construction because you don't know what you don't know. I'm not sure because you guys are in the space, but there is a young lady. Her name is Rashmi Pati, I think is how you pronounce her last name. She's an operations manager type person. She manages 27 boutique hotels. So I'm leveraging her for her operation knowledge, right? So that was the question I had for you, Nico. Being somebody who has been a manager of hotels, do you find yourself being compelled to like want to be that role in your acquisitions, or do you leverage that to make sure you find the right person to run the hotels that you guys are acquiring?
I leverage it to find the right person. Granted, am I excited? Was I excited to like make our SOPs for sure? But finding those team members too is important to brainstorm with them, because like having my one brain is great, but that's the beauty of the team, is getting to imagine and get creative and create that unreasonable hospitality, and create those new standards, I guess. So for sure, I would help create the basis, but I like to collaborate with who we work with just to help just innovate. To be honest with you, I think the innovation part is, to set new standards is what lights me up. But I think a little bit of both is that I would want to operate it just because I do know that, I have that experience, and I definitely know what it can be like, especially as guests come to you. And um, usually, hospitality, you get the brunt of people's travels and still have
Right.
to be grounded and compassionate and serve them with love and a smile. So I know how tough and grueling it can be. So I can't wait to support the team members in that too, in that aspect, 'cause it definitely lets you grow as a person.
Awesome. So, when we were talking, I found out you guys are one of the, what's I'm looking for, the mission, right, is to kind of create that retreat atmosphere. So, as you guys are acquiring your assets, what kind of attributes or amenities do you guys look for that kind of lend itself to create that vision, or that that aura that you're trying to go for to create the experience that you want from your guests to enjoy?
I think first and foremost is it being locations that we love, like geographic locations. So, for example, like Guatemala and Costa Rica are both very beautiful, stunning locations that we like, and the culture itself we are enamored with. I think the culture is a big one, because when you travel, you're really go like, yes, the views are amazing, but what really impacts you is the people, whether you know it or not. And I think being surrounded with good, warming people can really make a difference. So first, culture is like a big one. I think we look at cultures like lit us up. What we learn from culture, that culture specifically. That's the first one. But then in terms of like health and wellness, like what can we do there? So we at our assets, we like to put like cold plunges, saunas, weights, TRXs, etc. Well, we those could be implemented, or if they're there, that's great. Doesn't necessarily sway us from a no or yes for a property. Our underwriting team is usually the ones that help sway there in our market research, but typically it's our underwriting team.
Hey, they're usually the final, the red line. So, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, it would be awesome to, like you said, Costa Rica, Spain.
But
You
I
know,
guess so. Sorry. One thing that like I think most people like kind of forget about with hotels in general is like multifamily is solid. Storage units is super safe, like super solid, same thing. But at the end of the day, they're capped. You're locked into rent rolls, you're locked into box sizes. It's commoditized, where boutique hotels or boutique like hospitality, it's a whole different game. Here your ADR isn't just 120 bucks a night. It can fluctuate. You have multiple NOI levers such as the retreats, events, spa, F&B, day pool tickets. Like if it's a low season, there's just so much room to, so much opportunity to get creative. If we aren't hitting like for whatever reason, if our occupancy isn't crushing, there's a lot more ways to get creative versus like multifamily. It's like, oh, we already have like washer and dryer, so man, what can we do to increase these rents a little bit or add value? I think that's a also a big game changer with boutique hotels and just hospitality in general.
just so for the audience, ADR is average daily rate, and then F&B is food and beverage. People that are in the industry,
Yeah,
we
nailed it.
like our
Thank you.
acronyms, and we just assume that everybody knows what we're talking about. So I'm the translator dictionary for people that may not know the term. So um, that's awesome. So what I was trying to lead to on my earlier was, you know, people think about owning property in other countries because those are places that they want, like you said, want to visit or maybe even own property there. How have you guys learned the process of buying property in another country?
Uh, I'll jump in there. I'll say it's no country's alike. You know, looking in Costa Rica is a lot different from looking in Guatemala or Belize or
And they're all right
now.
next to each other. Like they're
Yeah,
all like neighboring areas. So to Will's point, like market research.
yeah,
Yeah.
market research, and you think of as well as the that's one thing in Latin America. But you got to think as well as the political climate between said country and the U.S. How is that? Is it safe? Is that going to be a viable option for an American investor to invest into France or Australia? It sounds great, but is it? And is it simple? Does it make sense? So those are things that we really look for through the market research and talking to our brokers. And that's something I'll definitely hit on there is the brokers having a knowledgeable broker, no matter the market. It could be New Orleans, it could be San Diego. You have a good broker to tell you and to help, to answer the questions of, what happens if we do this? What happens if we do that? What kind of tax advantages, incentives can we offer? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly of investing in Costa Rica? And eventually, once you ask enough questions and the right questions, you'll find them out.
You know,
And,
have you guys? Go ahead.
oh,
Sorry.
one thing with brokers is if they don't know the answer, that's okay. It's not a red flag. But what is a green flag is that they go try to find it.
Sure.
We have been through our handful of brokers, and that was probably a pain point was finding the right brokers in each of our markets because you have to building that trust, just like with your investors. It's building that trust, being radically transparent with one another in the process, and making sure it's in alignment.
And the other thing I'll add to that is really understanding and respecting the local cultural norms of their real estate markets. Costa Rica, for example, for the most part, they don't really value their commercial assets like we do in the U.S. A lot of them are based off of more so like a residential type of evaluation. So that was something hard for us in the beginning because we learned that it's based off of your off of the NOI, but that didn't matter to the sellers there because that wasn't the way that it was done. So we were like, oh, okay. So now we have to figure it out. And but understanding that, respecting that, and adapting with it has been a huge help for us. And I think recently with our most recent deal, because of those learned aspects, it has gotten us further down the sale process than it would for any newbie to come in and just be like, okay, I'm going to invest here.
Right. Was it? Are your brokers? Because this is probably another barrier, right? Are most of your brokers English speaking, or are you having to kind of learn their language as well?
Well,
I would. Yeah. But we're luckily Nico spent some time in Costa Rica with the host family, and essentially the broker that we have there is an
hablo
equal to Nico.
español.
And but for the most part, I would say most professional real estate professionals in the Latin American countries are bilingual. But again, if you can speak their language, that's another layer of respect that you would probably get from those people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I think it just shows being a steward in that you are passionate about the culture, not taking away from it. Like you want to amplify and just be immersed in it instead of maneuver it, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Sure. Does the process seem to be harder or just as easy as it is here in the States? And what's the time frame usually?
time frame's pretty quick. EMD is a little different. I think they have a larger EMD, but I mean it's just tough to say. That's what they're used to, so it's probably like yeah, no biggie. It's a
Right.
developing country for sure. Uh, I can't. I think they have a pretty straightforward process. It's just crazy. It's like our process of syndications or fund models are
Sure.
those are new. That's a new system. So they're used to people coming down there just like cash hand ready, like let's go. That's why they're usually so quick because it's like retired expats that are just like looking to relax and wind down and
Mhm.
have kind of maybe already curated their sole purpose where it's like us coming in, we're like, yes, we have this amazing model. Investors come in into this fund, our fund buys the asset. It's incredible. Hear us out. So we just kind of have to explain the process to them, make sure you find a broker that it aligns with that, and that the broker also tells the seller. Because I think that's where it can get a little tricky, as far as like the seller maybe doesn't know that you're raising capital for a fund or a syndication and why we'd want media assets, or that's where I think you just have to be honest.
Sure.
That's all. I think that's like the biggest thing. And not just in real estate. I think this is a good life rule is just be honest, man. Be a good human, Like deep down
Exactly.
this, inside, like we just all want to have fun, live peacefully in general. All of us want to have fun and live peacefully and
Totally
create
agree with that.
so I think
Yeah.
deep down, you know how to nurture a relationship and move with respect. It should be like a knee jerk intuition.
There you go. Go ahead, Will. I knew you had something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we'll probably run into a different scenario down the line, but so far our experiences have been the locals of the respective countries are the work is being done by the local to the local Guatemalan, the local Costa Rican. They're the ones lending the deal, brokering the deal, what have you. But then typically what we found is the sellers, they're not Costa Rican, they're not Guatemalan. The sellers that
They're
we've met,
Europeans.
they're Australians. So there's different cultural norms within the different cultural countries that we're looking at. So
Right.
that's been, so then we're having to be educators just like we are here, just like you at the Pace Morby Group. We're being educators to Americans, but now we have to be educators to French, Dutch, Australians, New Zealanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, when we explain how we're going to syndicate or do the fund model when you have this cultural melting pot of investors.
Cool. So the name of my um, podcast is Good, Bad, and Ugly. Can you guys share a good story and a bad story that you guys have had on your journey?
For sure can. I think we
Yeah.
can do the bad one with our first deal that went out of alignment.
Like nobody speak at once.
Yeah.
Let's start with the bad one, Will.
Yeah.
So
You go ahead.
before we were with our amazing fund, the Rev Luxury Fund, uh, we were trying to syndicate a hostel in Costa Rica. Um, and we found as we were doing the underwrite, like the market research checked out, the asset was kind of checking out, but something interesting in these foreign countries is they maybe don't, it's usually like mom and pops that owned it. So maybe they don't have P&Ls, or maybe they don't have the more organized financials. And that was one pain point. So for this one asset, it took us like a quarter just to try to get financials so that we can underwrite it to see if we wanted to pursue it. Um, and so that was one hurdle, and we explained why, and it was a really should have been a red flag for us, and maybe we should have just moved on, to be honest with you, but we were persistent. And the same, like we moved on from said broker as well. We learned a lot of lessons in this deal. But once we got some of the financials, we didn't even really get all of them. We just kind of got these made up, like weird. It's on a Word doc, like
Yeah.
you just scramble it up together. So we tried to do underwriting, and when we tried it, we were like, okay, well, it kind of looks like you're embezzling from yourselves. Like, how are you even running this business?
Right.
We didn't say that directly. We're just like, hey, the numbers aren't mathing. The math is not mathing. Can you
Right.
help us? Can you just help us understand this? That went back and forth. We were still willing because we really believed in the like what it could be. So we went ahead, did the LOIs. We got up to did we even sign? Did we even sign the?
No, we never made it there because this is the point. This was, you know, the
We
last
get
straw
so
for
mad.
me.
We fall off words.
Yeah, at this point, because we're being honest with them. We're like, this is how we're doing it. This is why we need to, need all these T12s and P&Ls, and I guess I'll help you a dictionary T12 trailing 12 months, purchase and loss statements, all that kind of good stuff. And then at some point they were like, well, we need an answer because high season's about to get here, so we're gonna have to raise the price once that happens.
That's
and
right.
We're like,
that's right. And right as we got the document, they were like, we're raising the selling price on you. And we're like, we're still okay with that because we believe in what it could be. And
Right.
then really we just none of us felt comfortable because they then took after we said yes to all their requests, they took more days to get back to us. And so we were like, it's just it's not in alignment.
There you go.
Just not in alignment. It doesn't feel right. We were kind of looking in a smaller area of Costa Rica, so we were treading lightly because we didn't want to ruin our name down there.
Sure.
Like we weren't enamored with our broker either. So what we took away from that is kind of like, if it takes too long just to get something that simple, then just walk away. Like it shouldn't take a whole quarter to underwrite, to just get a stress test done even to see if
Right.
it's worth the time. And two, again, learning about the importance of a broker relationship because it's not just during the sale that you're going to be partners with them. Like you want to nurture, like for a fund or a syndicator, you may want to buy in that market again. So you want to nurture that relationship. You want them to send you those deals that they see and they think of you on, or what we think would be cool is bringing them on the team somehow and just empowering them and their families in a grand scale. So you never know who they are, and just want to make sure you're moving with stewardship in every relationship and compassion with every relationship and action. And that deal, we learned a lot on in it. It was a tough one to like have to walk away from because it was a property I had seen since I was a kid. And so I got to see it evolve. So I was like, oh my God, little kid dream coming true. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. And so sometimes I learned also to like not get so maybe emotionally attached to the asset until things check out, but to keep that grit and tenacity still super strong. But yeah, that one we learned a lot in, especially about relationships and reputation, and not even just our reputation, what it could look like to what it could have done to the broker as well. Like, so yeah, we just learned a lot. We got a good download, and then it transcended for creating a better onboarding. So from that, we created a better even onboarding system for our team members that we want on our team for Black Sail Capital. So we got a valuable lesson on relationships out of that and partnerships. So it was a blessing in disguise for sure.
Yeah, you made a really good point as far as oh shoot, I lost it. It was about deals. No, doing your. Dang it, I lost it. It was basically something where I was like, it didn't matter what the deal is, you needed to make sure that you foster that relationship. Darn, I should have said it right when you said it, so I would know what it was.
Okay.
It'll come
Anyway,
back.
we'll come back to it if it comes back to me. What about your good story? You guys have one of those?
Yeah, the good story is not really. It's going to be more future deal related. I'm going to say, but for me, in this most recent deal that we're working on in Costa Rica in the similar area, is that we found that we found the deal, we underwrote the deal, We've been
Found it
marketing the
on
deal.
Facebook Marketplace.
Found it on Facebook
That's
Marketplace.
awesome.
Yeah. And, and for the fund, what we believe was capital raising was not going to be something that we focused on as a team. It was not really our strong suit. We're still kind of, guppies in the space in that sense.
But as we understand for our team, any deal, any team we're on, it's everyone's job to capital raise. So that's not Will saying like we weren't going to try to capital raise.
Yeah.
We just went into the team being like, hey guys, it's not our strong point. We are great at a lot of other things. We're still learning that one.
Right. Yeah. So it forced us to get out of our comfort zone and go out and capital raise and reach out to all these, investors that we do know that are accredited and people that are friends, more so than they are business. Yeah, they're friends before business colleagues or mentors, and we reached out to them, and we told them what we had, and some of them said like, oh man, I want to learn more. Some of them said, can't do it right now. But the overarching, the good that I'm getting to is that they all want to see us win.
Yeah, we got out of
they're doing
in our own intrusive thoughts.
They all like, it was so great to how many conversations that we've heard from other, experienced real estate entrepreneurs who are successful and have, a robust portfolio. And they all say like, oh man, I wish I could, I just can't do it right now. However, let me know. And I'm like, I want to see you guys win. And that's the best part of this. Like, it's even better than good because it's just like the support that we have is kind of like running a marathon. When I ran a marathon about 2 years ago, and
good for you.
Running a marathon, it's a lonely process as far as
it's grueling.
It's grueling, it's lonely. Nobody wants to run with you. Whenever you tell someone like, hey, I'm going to go for a 20-mile run, do you want to come with me? No one wants to say, no one's raising their hand. So like I said, it was 13 weeks of a lonely process, just like it is real estate investing. Luckily, I have a team and we get to do it together. But when you cross that finish line, the amount of congratulations I got, from people I didn't even know were watching.
Sure.
It's similar to what's happening now, to where there's so many people who are watching. And then we do reach out to them. They are supporting us, maybe don't tell us right now, but they are watching. And that's my good out of the whole entire situation.
You got another story, Nico, or is that good?
That's a good one. I love that.
I like it.
I'll touch on maybe a little bit of the health and wellness and why I think we're so excited about it. Because I think that's a good part too. And I think we're, I don't know, I just think that's an aspect that we're all really excited and amped up on with Will talking about marathon. I think that some of them, I think you asked earlier, what are some of the things we look at before we get into a market? And something along those lines. One is kind of those macro tailwinds. So health and wellness is a big one. And the winds are at our back, pushing us forward. Wellness isn't just some niche anymore. It's a multi-trillion-dollar global economy. People don't want to just travel anymore. They want to transform, and they want these experiences that we keep alluding to. And that's why wellness tourism isn't just projected to hit 1.4 billion by 2027. Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that was right. Learned it from our blog.
I've seen a lot of different numbers thrown out there, but they're all in the trillions. It's depending on which way you spin it, right?
It's trending up, that's for sure.
Yes. And that's why people pay 30, 40, 50% premiums for these wellness retreats compared to just standard rentals. And then you zoom in, and while we're talking about Costa Rica is already a magnet. It's safe, it's stable, it's pro foreign investment. One of the places we're looking at, the Nicoya Peninsula, it's one of the five of the blue zones in Costa Rica of Earth, and there's 7 or 11. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Will. 7 or 11. 7. Thank you. Literally branded for longevity and vitality. For those that don't know what a blue zone is, it's just where people live longer because they're eating healthier and living better, for lack of better terms. So when you say what are you excited about, what's good about this? Well, the timing's on our side. It could not have been more perfect. It's not just a hype, it's data. Granted, I love to live healthily, but other people love to as well. And that's what we're seeing. So we're surfing this macro wave at the right exact, like literally prime time. That's what I think is a good point too, is um, we're in it at the right time.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
totally
excited
agree.
about.
No,
Because
that's good.
sometimes you beat yourself up feeling so behind, like, man, if I found this when I was 19, how far I could be, and then I have to remind myself, like, oh, all those little jumps into the abyss that I took led me here into this now to surf this killer wave of health and wellness and boutique hotels.
You had to go through that journey to be where you are today. I totally agree with that because I think of myself at 19. I think of myself right now, and my mindset was totally different. And I don't think
Yes.
I would have been ready as I am now if I was trying to do, or even if I learned what I learned now back then. I don't think I would have been ready. I think I'm in the prime time of quote unquote my life, right? That I've gone through the journey, I've had the experiences, so now I understand and I can appreciate more, and um, everything has more meaning. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And just to kind of circle back, it was about getting emotionally involved in deals. That goes for
Oh,
all deals. You know,
yes.
you can't get emotionally involved. Like just like this boutique that I'm trying to get, I'm trying to not be like, this is mine. I'm going to have it. Right? It's like if it's meant to be, it'll be. So
Yes. Yes, with
um,
the dash of this is mine, but also like if it doesn't fall through, you don't need to hear your heart break.
exactly.
There's other deals in the sea for sure. So I think all Will, who lives across the Pacific from me, probably had my heart break that day. But then it was a grand blessing in disguise.
So I
So
want to
Yeah.
highlight that just before we bring this to an end. Nico's in Hawaii, correct?
yeah, I'm based in
And
Kauai.
so you can be team. You can create teams virtually and work your businesses. So this is for the audience. Like, don't allow locations prevent you from investing or even partnering with somebody. I partner with somebody who's in Texas right now. I also have somebody who's in Chicago right now. So don't let where you live be your limiting factor as far as finding the right people to partner with to get on these deals. You would be really doing yourself a disservice if you said that I can only work with people that are in my backyard, for example. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, shout out Will. He'll like stay up extra late to work with me because our time zones are so far apart. But that's how committed he is to the mission, and or he'll get up earlier, etc. Like has no, he has boundaries, but he
sure,
crosses them often to empower the obstacles that teams could face, such as time
Mhm.
zones or
right,
W-2s, etc.
That's the beauty to our team dynamic, though, because since I am, Central Standard Time, my 6 a.m. is Nico's midnight.
right.
So we start from 6 a.m. Central Standard Time to, I don't know, 8 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I don't know how many hours is in between that, but that's
A
more
lot.
than your average.
We stay communicating for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but what I'm getting to is that I'm passing off the keys to Strat and Nico, and they're as if I've gone all my workday, and I'm like, hey guys, I gotta my boundaries here, and they're like, no worries, we're gonna go for another 6 hours, and we still
right.
make 6 more hours of progress. And I do the same in the morning, where I have 4 to 6 hours of progress by myself. We have 8 hours of progress together. We have and then Strat and Nico take the reins for the latter half of the day. But back to time zones, got to always remember you're on the right one, because sometimes Central Standard does not mean the same thing in Costa Rica, because Central Standard in Costa Rica is Mountain Time US. So definitely don't want to get those crossed.
That is good tidbit because I did not know that, and I would probably
Yeah.
have made that mistake. So
It
that's
does make
awesome.
yeah, calendar invites.
There you go. So you guys shared with the audience what you guys are doing and the vision that you are trying to bring to the world and create these awesome destinations. If people wanted to like invest in your projects or just want to follow you on your journey, how would they do that?
Will, you can take it away.
Yeah. I say there's a few ways. Best way is to get involved with the Rev Luxury Fund. That's where we're kind of funneling every investor that we meet is to the fund. We really want to pack out this fund. It's a $50 million fund that's focused on investing in boutique hotels and wellness retreats across the world. And we want to bring and share that vision and mission with any investors who's interested, and then from there, you have the Rev Luxury Fund. Then you have Black Sail Capital. Give us a follow. Black Sail Capital across all platforms, from what I understand. And then you have myself, Will Musak, Nico Streetman, Strat Streetman.
You can find us on any of the platforms, but we're just at Black Sail Capital. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. And, we as a whole team, we're always someone's looking at social medias. We're always wanting and ready to have the conversation. As we look at the hospitality industry and the real estate side of things, it's definitely the passionate asset class, and we're passionately connected to this asset class, and we're happy to talk about it because, at the end of the day, we're talking about experiences and adventures and travel, which is just fun.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's for those who want their money working in places that inspire, places that feel alive. This is a legacy-driven capital that builds sanctuaries, your health, your vibrancy, not just structures, that too, which is amazing. So when you invest with us, you're not just parking your money, you're aligning with a vision. And that vision is unreasonable hospitality, not just for people that come to our hotels, but for the people that work for these hotels, that work for these retreats, the vendors, ourselves, our investors. And we're creating wealth that pays you in dollars and in meaning. That's Rev. That's how I see Rev.
I love it.
And one thing I could share with the audience and yourself is Nico's brought it up twice now, is quoting Unreasonable Hospitality. It's actually a book that we read by Will Gardera. Unreasonable Hospitality is the title. I would urge anyone and everyone to give that book a read.
Onboarding. Like if you want to join any of our teams on Black Sail, Pieces of A, any of our hotels, that is going to be what you have to read.
Okay. And for the audience, all of their social media links will be in the description. I will make sure that I do an Amazon link for the book so that people can go look for that. And if they're interested, they can get that as well. So, Will, Nico, thank you so much for spending time with me today. To the audience, thank you for spending another episode with me. I hope you got as much out of this as I did, because Will and Nico brought lots of information, and now they're providing you an opportunity to invest in maybe your dream destination. So until the next time, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Nico.
Hello,
Thanks, Will.
See you guys. Bye.